fundamental technique work, one-on-ones, competitive situational work, and do it the way we did it. Spirited. These are always spirited, but clean. Everybody, I think, did the right things, and I think both teams had an opportunity to improve. So I give Kyle and John and their group a ton of credit for this, and we would do it again with them. So, questions?
Josh, we saw that Devontae Adams have to leave practice.
Yeah.
Also didn't see Hunter out there or anything.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys that weren't out there, so I was in the double digits. But no, I don't. I haven't seen anything. I don't think it was crazy serious. It was just kind of a bang play. Totally clean on both sides.
We saw 6 interceptions from your defense today, and
I didn't get to see them all. I was over there on the other field, but I heard some of them.
Yeah, it was 6 today, I think, and around that many yesterday. It's kind of starting to become a theme for you guys in training camp. And I know it is just training camp.
Yeah.
Gotta keep that in perspective, but it's something that we haven't really seen a lot of around here, and certainly not last year. You started to get encouraged by what you're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're, in order to get the ball, you have to be connected. You have to know what your job is, and you have to be willing to make a play when it's coming into your area. And if you're not connected, then there's a lot of big holes in the defense, and you don't really have chances. And if you are, then you can make the windows tighter, and then you tend to get more hands on the ball. And who knows what happens when you get tips and all that stuff. And I don't know how many of them were tipped or not. I don't really know. But, I like the idea of any defense that we put out there, being aggressive and trying to get the football. We talked about that all off season. Seeing if we can improve ourselves in that area. I think the players have worked really hard at some of the techniques that you would use, in trying to create turnovers, and the coaches have identified them. So it's exciting for our guys when they make a play, and hopefully we can continue to improve in that, and then ultimately do them in the regular season.
Clearly, it's not the regular season, not making it that, but when you look at how the first 2 weeks of camp went, and then coming in both days, you guys look like the better team. My point to you is, are you able to enjoy it, or as a coach, is it, I'm always going to just look for the negative?
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about there's no scoreboards out there, you know what I mean? And so I think there was a lot of repetitions by both sides where both teams did some things very well, and the other team's going to learn from them. That's kind of how I look at these practices. I don't really try to worry about the who's got the advantage in terms of winning the practice or the period. I just really focus on each individual play or period and what the focus is. I thought our team was really into whatever that segment was. Red zone defense, 2-minute, move the field. We had some different things going on today that I thought that you could see their awareness, and that's really what this practice is about. Is being able to see if you have 11 guys out there that know what's going on, are aware of the situation, how much time's remaining, what down is it, and so you can't, it's hard to, like I said, it's hard to simulate that when you're on your own. And so to be able to do that, I felt like we were improving in that area. We saw a lot of things last night in the film that we needed to do better as a football team. And I think our guys had great intentionality today in terms of let me try to fix something that I can control. So we'll see what the tape shows, but there's always going to be things to fix.
Have you made a final determination on Garoppolo for Sunday? How much will he play if he plays?
We have not made any final determination really on anybody. We're going to talk about that tonight, and and just kind of, there's a lot of guys there was guys that got a ton of reps in the last 2 days. So we're going to make sure that, like I said, we looked at it as a 3-day sequence here against the same team. So wanted to try to give everybody about the same opportunity depending on how practice went, and then you kind of divvy up the game reps accordingly. So we'll kind of take stock of it here today.
You guys added a running back, Damian Williams. What was kind of the thought process behind that?
Yeah, we had a couple guys that got nicked a little bit, so we're just getting ready to go into a preseason game where there's 4 quarters, regardless of whether you want them or need them or run out of players. And so Damian's a guy we worked out earlier in training camp. He was in shape. He's had a productive career. He's a good football player. He's smart. He's tough. And so we were interested in him, honestly, before that. But, when you start to get a little low in a number here and you got to play a game, and really we're going to play 2 in 6 days, along with another 2 competitive practices. So just trying to make sure that at each spot we can, we're kind of, healthy as we can be going into, I'd say, this stretch of days, which is going to be an important one.
Coach, now that you've had Zamir White for a while, how does he compare to the evaluation you had on him during the NFL draft process?
He's improving. There's no question. But, the things that we saw, he's powerful. He's fast. He's tough. He's a downhill runner that can really, produce yards between the tackles or around the edge. And so he's worked hard at his pass game discipline, and protection and catching the football. And just a good example of a young player doing a lot of the things that you need to do to try to get better and be a good NFL football player. So excited about where he's at and the progress that he's made so far.
What have you seen so far from Trey Tucker? What's the next step for him in his development?
Yeah, Trey's handling a lot of stuff, and he's learning multiple positions on offense, which for a young player is great that he can do that. He has the aptitude to do it. We all knew he was fast when we drafted him, but it's, in the NFL, it's not just good enough to be fast. You got to be able to use your speed the right way and, learn how to run routes against different techniques and those kind of things. I think that's where we're at right now in his development is how do I improve the technique so that I can beat good players in the NFL, when I have to and when I need to. So, made some good plays today, another handful of things that I'm sure we're going to learn from, but he's been out there every day, which is great, for young players to be out there and have those opportunities. That's the best thing we can ask.
What do you think of the last couple of days with Nesta Jade Silvera, how he looked?
Yeah, Nesta's he's a powerful guy in there, and he's done some good things. He's done some good things in training camp, and learning. I think that's a good word right now, learning, because, you need different techniques for different schemes and based on what you see and your tips and those kind of things. But he's learning. He plays hard. He's physical. We saw that in college. We felt like that he would do that in the NFL regardless, and trying to add to some of the things that he already naturally did well in terms of pass rush and, technique and those kind of things. So young player with a long way to go, like everybody is at that stage. But, again, out there, working, getting a lot of repetitions, which is the way you get better.
Do 2 more to Sean Adams. Josh, kind of stemming from that question, obviously any pass rush is good, but particularly when it's from the interior, that tends to affect quarterbacks. What's it been like to see that group kind of come to life for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's if the middle doesn't really get any push in there, and the tackles on another team do a good job of trying to protect the inside and force the edges to run around the quarterback, then the quarterback has a chance, obviously, to step forward. So whether it's the ends ripping inside and running games or what have you, or the inside guys creating disruption on their own, it really affects the ability of the quarterback to help the tackles. And so I think both teams probably did, some of that in the last 2 days, and your quarterback feels it the most, because he can't really go forward. So, any type of pressure to the spot, we call it, is good. I didn't really, like I said, we'll see how we did on that today, and the quarterback always has an opportunity to help, avoid some of those things. But if you get inside pressure, it makes it tough.
Just 2 parts. One, it's been a while since we saw Brandon Faison carted off. Did you have an update on him? And then also, what are you looking for guys to kind of make their name on Sunday to kind of stand out for you?
No update on Face. Still working to try to, be back as soon as he can. But the Sunday, it's not really about making a name. It's really about trying to go out there and do your job, and who's disciplined enough to do it as many plays as they're out there. They might be out there for 2 quarters. Some of them might be out there for, 15 plays. Some of them might be out there for the whole game, and so you're trying to see who can be disciplined enough to know what their job is, communicate with their teammates, and then try to use the right technique and, see if they can help their team, their side of the ball, make good plays because they're doing the right thing at their spot, So I don't want 11 guys going out there as independent contractors trying to, light up the scoreboard, and that's not really the way to play football, So you got to trust the other guys around you, and you got to do your part. And so this will be our first opportunity to see that, I'd say, as a whole with all three phases.
Great, thank you, Coach.
Yep. Thank you.
How we doing? How you doing? Pretty good.
You're having an excellent camp, playing extremely well. I'm just curious for you, your thoughts on your team. Good performances against the 49ers in both practices.
First, appreciate that, I guess. And then second, I just like that we coming out every day trying to compete. And nobody's going out there sticking their toe in the water. Everybody's diving in, trying to be the best, competing with them, competing with ourselves, man. It's a lot of people out there showing how talented they are. So I appreciate them for working hard.
Jakobi, did you happen to see what happened on the play that Devontae went out? Who was involved?
Unfortunately, I didn't. I see it on tape, but I was in there too, running the route on the opposite side. So I'm just hoping he's healthy. He brings a lot to this team. We appreciate him, and we just want him to be back to himself. And whatever happened, I'll go find out soon.
With him missing a good amount of practice and Hunter not being out there today with some more reps for some of the younger guys, how valuable do you think that experience was for them going against this defense?
No, I think that's actually a really big part of camp, in my opinion, for a guy who was undrafted, kind of waiting on his moment. These are the days you don't want anybody to get hurt, but when somebody does go down, it's your moment. Like, you got a chance to step up and go out there and show coaches what you could do with that new opportunity. So, I'm proud of the guys because a lot of them was out there, no break, going straight through, pushing hard. So a lot of people showed what they were made of today, and hopefully they can just keep building on that day by day.
Along those lines, you were, like you said, an undrafted free agent, facing your first preseason game. I'm not sure you're even going to play on Sunday after the status that you have right now, but there are a bunch of young players that are getting ready to play their first game. What do you remember your moments in that realm, and what advice would you have to some of those younger guys?
Soak it in. Honestly, everybody, I guess, want kids one day, right? And they want to tell the story on their terms, and I'm sure they want to tell a good story. So my only advice would be just enjoy it and just let the moment come to you. It's a lot of things we can't control that we try to control, but that usually end up in a bad situation. So go out there, be free, and you're applying for a job with 32 teams. So.
Do you want to play Sunday?
I always want to play. If you put me out there, just know I can only go how I go. So it's not going to be a go out there and be careful. It'll be a go out there and just be you. That's all I can do.
Jimmy hit you with a slant, in the red zone, got you on a touchdown during the scrimmage. Why do you think you guys were able to be, in such a good rhythm against such a good defense today and yesterday?
Reps in practice. We kind of take every rep serious. We try to, and if we don't like a rep, we talk about it. And I feel like the communication here has been real good as far as guys trying to get on the same page and trying to figure out the offense the best we can. So, those conversations kind of lead to plays like that. Hopefully we can keep building.
How has that chemistry been trying to build with Jimmy?
It's new, honestly, but it's nothing I'm not used to. I feel like as far as my career, I've had different quarterbacks every year besides once. I've only had one back-to-back. So just another chance to learn a new guy and grow with him and just be a steady force for him. Calm, cool. Whenever he need me, I'll be there. So he tell me what he need, we'll try to make it right.
It's been a little while around here since the Raiders' defense was a legitimate defense. We've seen a lot in practice of turnovers, ball hawking. From your perspective on your side of the field, what are you seeing from that defense?
They hungry. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, that's all I can say. They definitely are hungry. You hear them, you feel the speed. They thumping you, like they out there playing hard, and as long as they stay like that and we do our job, I feel like we should be decent.
For you, when you watch their intensity and you watch that they took it from practice and then brought it into another team, you've been on some teams with some really good defenses. What's your analysis of that? That edge they're playing with.
This is probably a different one because it's young at the same time and they out there flying around. And like I said, you hear them, you feel the speed. Like it's exciting to see. They working on the communication. Everything's getting better. Like I feel like they're definitely trending in the right direction. We got to push them as an offense. The coach is gonna stay on us, and hopefully we just like I said, it's all about building.
So far, since the beginning of training camp, what is the biggest area of improvement that you've noticed within your offense as a whole?
Communication. Like a lot of guys just weren't used to having reps for other guys. I feel like as far as we talking and being on the same page, those first couple of days were a little shaky, but then every day since has just been growth. So if we could stay on that, we'd be all right.
Anything else?
Appreciate y'all. Have a good one.
Austin, you have been around a lot of good teams with a lot of talent in your career. You've seen a lot of good players. When you look at the talent on this Raiders offense, I mean, there's a lot of options for tight ends, obviously, under Josh McDaniels. What are your thoughts on this offense?
Yeah, I think the organization's done a tremendous job of bringing guys at every position group, not just offense, but defense and core special teamers as well to compete and push everyone for greatness. Like speaking in my room alone, like we got a lot of guys that have truly made me better because I know I can't afford a day off with them pushing, and it's been a great collaborative environment with Coach Jerry and all the guys in the room, and it's made for a fun group where we push each other, but at the same time we also have fun with it. After all, like we're playing a kid's game. Sometimes we forget that, so we have fun, but we also push each other to be better daily.
Is there a level of excitement for you knowing the way that Josh McDaniels has utilized tight ends in his offensive schemes?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, candidly, he's the guy who revolutionized the 12 personnel offense. So I'd be lying to you if that didn't, come across my mind when I was given the opportunity to join this organization. So just try and take the coaching, apply it daily, and put my best foot forward and see how it shakes out.
Obviously Michael Mayer not able to be there today, and you are right now the starter, at the position. But at 28, are you already, kind of ready to also do a mentor role while also being the starting tight end, or is that something you're not thinking about just yet?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just part of being a good teammate. Like, doesn't matter what year you are. Like, I'm an open book. Without getting into names, I'll just say I was a young player, and I wish some things were handled differently with me being a young tight end. So I said to myself, like, if I make it that far down the road, like, it's never going to be a closed book. If, by all means, I let Jerry coach. I mean, it's his room ultimately. But if there are little tidbits, little things that have helped me that can help him, make the jump a little quicker, I definitely don't hold any secrets, if that's what you're asking.
Austin, when you were in Atlanta, there was a lot of talent on those offenses, Julio Jones, Calvert, the guys like that.
Sanu, yeah, all of them.
Yeah, and you had some big numbers. You found your way in those offenses. When you look at this offense and this collection of talent, are any similarities to that and ways that you can see that you're going to be able to find your niche?
Yeah, certainly. There's a ton of talent at every single position group. It makes it awesome when you have a strong, what we feel is a strong running game and have a ton of options like you alluded to in whatever set we come out there with. So it's just, going back to the original question, it's fun for us all as an offense to push each other, hold each other accountable, and strive for greatness daily.
What's been your relationship like with Jimmy, just not only here as a teammate, but just prior to that? Like, what are some things that you like about him on the field, but also off the field as a teammate?
Yeah, what you see is what you get. I mean, he's always cool, calm, collected, and as a quarterback, that means a lot because, all QBs know this, whether they like it or not. At the end of the day, everyone's looking at you and the head coach. So if you have the aura of calm, the soldiers will be calm. And I really appreciate that about him because when you get into the huddle, it's a calming presence. Everyone can and delivers the information so we can get out there and get going. So it's just subtle little things like that I really appreciate.
Was there a moment when you picked up on that calm, meeting Jimmy or just kind of interacting with him? Was there a particular moment when you were like?
Yeah, that happened years ago off the field. I won't get into. Great guy.
As a veteran, what are your thoughts on the preseason, on the games where some guys get an opportunity but others get to get some rest?
Yeah, I think every opportunity you get to go out there, you got to give it your all. I mean, you can't afford to not go hard, right? Because that's when you do get hurt. So I've no idea what anything. I'm just a player. If they tell me to go, I'm going. But my mindset is, this is a real football game. At the end of the day, your body doesn't know the difference if you get smoked running across the middle, if it's regular season or preseason. So you definitely have to have your mind right and go to a special place and get ready to compete.
Great question, but Stanford and Cal are kind of in a little bit of no man's land right now with the Pac-12.
Mike, you want to take this one away? I don't know, man. Like, might be playing San Francisco City College here. I don't.
How much does it hurt though to see the conference that
dissolve? Yeah, it's brutal, but I mean, college is a multi-billion-dollar business, and Cal and Stanford are academic schools. I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, those are questions way above my pay grade. I'm just sitting back watching the ESPN ticker, just like you guys every day. I don't know anyone that's still there anymore since they have a new staff come in. So your guess is as good as mine on this one. I hope that they'll find a resolution that makes sense. But, again, I'm way out of my depth on this one.
On the back end of that, a couple of days ago, David Shaw was here at practice.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get to chop it up with him at all?
Absolutely. Great man. Eternally grateful for him. I mean, what you see is what you get. Like, he's a great dude. Like, he's one of those rare people, and how you see him on television is actually how he is in real life. The more people you meet, you realize people are different when the camera's on them and off. But what I always appreciate about him is he was the same man every single day, and he affected, thousands of lives in a positive way. So I'm very, very grateful for him.
With you being a Stanford guy, Jesper's Ivy League, Mayor, Notre Dame, is the tight end room the smartest in the building?
Whew, loaded question. Well, if you ask the boys, we think so, But I'm sure some position groups will respectfully disagree. But yeah, I like where we're sitting in the tight end room.
Another thing is, when I was talking to him, he also said that you were a low-key Raiders fan growing up. So with that being said, how cool is it to kind of play for a team that you kind of, by proximity, was a fan of growing up?
Yeah, for sure. East Bay kid. Grew up watching the Raiders and Niners, just Bay Area sports fan in general. Athletics, Giants, the Warriors, even when they were trash. Now everyone's a Warriors fan. It's hilarious. No one remembers when Baron Davis was out there bawling in front of 40 people, but yeah, so I mean, Bay Area guy. I've been given the unbelievable privilege of being a part of this organization. So yeah, I mean, it's business, but there's about once or twice where I kind of sat back. I was like, wow, like this is pretty cool. Like smell the roses a little bit, but like let's get back to work.
Austin, are there any veteran tight ends or tight ends you played with or watched that Michael Mayer reminds you of?
That's a great question. You gotta give me a second on this one. I feel like his style is very unique. Like there are aspects where you can see some Zach Ertz at the top of the route. There are some aspects at the line of scrimmage where you can do some Jordan Reed stuff. That's a great question just off the top of my head. Like you're gonna have to give me I'm gonna have to answer that for you another day, but he's really talented and can do a lot of different things at a lot of different spots. So it's fun to have a young guy who's hungry like him in the room, who's doesn't have an ego, who's humble and is willing to learn. So it makes, me the older guy, like if I say, hey dude, like I would do this differently, it's like got you, and you see him go out there and do it, and helps him out a ton, and like makes me feel good. Like it's just being a good teammate.
Well, are you guys good?
Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Robert, about a week and a half ago, you stood up there on that podium talking about mindset and turnovers and ball hawking and the importance of not just doing your job but making plays. Well, we've kind of seen that a lot from the defense so far in training camp, including these last couple of days. You feel like that message is starting to really be absorbed?
Yeah, I do. I feel like we're really coming together as a unit, and that's on all three levels, our secondary, our linebackers, and our D-line. And we're making a conceited effort to go out there, do our jobs, and then go make plays. So we're focusing on being good teammates to each other and just having fun with it.
Robert, you created some turnovers today yourself, and you got some turnovers, and your defense just continues to hawk to the ball. How excited were you to see it go from not just practice against your teammates, but then carry it over into joint practices?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. We're going out there playing football, running around, flying around. These joint practices are not only awesome because you get to compete with another team, but you also get to learn from other guys. So I got a chance to talk to Fred Warner,
And I'm like, Fred, you know, I love your game. I've been following your game, researching your game for years. And what is it to you that stands you apart from the rest? And he said, you know what, it's effort. Every play, every time, and he's right. Every time you turn on that film of Fred Warner, what is he doing? Flying to the ball. It doesn't matter. He's 50 yards away. He's playing hard every single opportunity. So just to hear that from him was, you know, a nice way to end these joint practices and be able to give that mutual respect to another linebacker in the league.
I think it was you after an interception where Max kind of ran off the sideline and you celebrated a little bit. Is that a real thing where, you know, you guys, as a defense, you're kind of feeding off each other's energy a little bit and it helps boost your play on the field?
For sure. I mean, we're in this training camp setting together. We're with each other all day. So you form these relationships and bonds with teammates, and those bonds are stronger than you think. Having that love and support from your brother next to you lets you play free. You know, you trust the guys around you. You're able to go make plays. And without that trust, you can't play outside the box. You need to just play standard football. But good defenses all trust each other. I know my guy's going to set the edge here. I know my safeties are behind me. Gives me an opportunity to play fast. You know, I always tell my D linemen, go eat. Like, it's our job to clean you up. I get safeties behind me. Rob, go fly around. We'll make you right. So it's that 3 levels of trust throughout a defense that really has been coming together this camp for us.
Speaking of that turnover, that bond with Max and how did it kind of come together? We've asked you a lot about him as a player, but it seems like he's been excited every time you make a play. Do you guys kind of have that special chemistry?
Yeah, I mean, it's just mutual respect for each other's games. You know, he's been somebody who helped bring me here to Las Vegas. And we just have a bond, a special bond, and we're like brothers on the field. So any chance I get to see him go make a play, I'm fired up, just like we all are for each other. I mean, we're in this together as a team. So any chance that our teammates make a play, we're excited for them. You know, it's not like I'm scared if a linebacker behind me on the depth chart makes a play. No, I'm excited for Luke to go do his job and then come across the field, make a huge interception today. I mean, those are plays that bring a team together. It's not just 11 men. It's we're going to need everybody in this building who's here to help us win. So,
That interception you had, that was just a few days after you were in here preaching about the mindset of turnovers. What do you think it does for you to, you preach that and then you go out there and then you practice it? What do you think it does to the team dynamic to see that?
yeah, the ball changes the game. These turnovers change the outcome of games. So we've been preaching it, and now you just put it to practice. And this is just a practice. So what's the next step? Bring it to the game. We have Sunday to go out there on Sunday and show that ball awareness on every play, whether it's a run play, we're raking, stripping at the ball, whether it's a pass play, we're getting in the quarterback's face. D-line, get their hands up. Linebackers, put some extra air on that ball and break on the ball. So it's a culture and it's a mindset, and it's just something that we just got to keep working over and over and over. Tedious repetition, over and over. Consistency is going to help us on Sunday. So.
How quickly did you see that mindset and that buy-in from the rest of the defense?
Yeah, I know. I think everyone on this defense kind of has a chip on their shoulder. We're looked at as a weak point, one of the weakest defenses in the league, and we don't see ourselves as that. So it's our opportunity to go out there and compete every day, make each other better, and just be a cohesive unit. And I really think we're coming together and doing that.
You come from a place known for defense. What similarities do you see to where you came from to here?
Pardon?
What similarities do you see to that defense?
A passion for the game. We got guys who want to win. We got guys who don't want to be known as, the 30th defense in the league. We want to be up there with the best, and we just go day by day, getting better each day. It's a continual process throughout the season, so we're just going to keep working every day to get better.
How much do you guys talk about that, about where people view you guys as a defense?
At the end of the day, we don't care about outside noise. We kind of focus on what we believe as a team and what we see on film, and we go off of that. But, at the end of the day, you look at the stats, you look at what happened last year, and we're ready to make that right.
Robert, in today's NFL, there's a lot of conflict that's tried to be put on linebackers, especially in the pass game. What's the key from a linebacker's perspective to be effective in pass coverage?
Yeah, you got to know your responsibility, know where you're weak, where you have maybe a softness in the zone, and then also look for where can I maybe cheat my zone to go make a play? Where can I cheat my coverage to go help a brother out? So it's all about that understanding of the defenses and then going out there and trusting yourself and making plays. Don't, oh, maybe I should go. No, go make the play. We're going to clean it up. That's what we're here in camp for. So I just encourage all my back-end players, trust yourself, trust your eyes, trust your feet, and go play. So.
Did you have any favorite defensive plays or highlights for the defense today that you saw?
No, I think defensive football is all about consistency. You let down for one play, you get hit with a 60-yard touchdown. It's a huge letdown. So it's just keeping that consistency throughout. There's never going to be one play that loses you a game. But there are, if you lose a game, there's an accumulation of those plays that you wish you had back. It's all about minimizing those risks and finding ways that we can make plays at the end of the day.
Talk about being excited for your teammates, no matter where they are on the depth chart. A guy that's come in, Amari Burney. What have you liked from him so far, and how is that being involved?
Yeah, Amari's come in with an urgency, a willing to work. He comes in every day looking to get better. He takes the coaching and he brings it on the field, and that's all you could ask from young players, old players. Take the coaching and get better. I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody's ever going to be perfect on a football field. But if you're showing intentional actions to make improvements, that's a huge step for a young player. And I love where to see where he's going. So.
There's no scoreboard on joint practices, but did you feel that Raiders defense got the best out of the Niners offense these 2 days?
For me, it's practice. For me, you go out there, the next play is your play. The next play is your play. So I don't judge the scoreboard, especially in a practice. Those are opportunities to hone our craft, to get better. We're not out there trying to win the practice. We're out there just trying to get better and work on our skills. So I try not to focus on winning or losing a practice. We're 0-0 at the end of the day.
You have 1 pick or 2 picks today?
Pardon?
You have 1 interception or 2 today?
2.
You want to play on Sunday?
I always want to play.
Yeah, good. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.